I was making videos of the girls in front.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Juan Carlos Brando. Thank you so much for joining us today. And for me, it's a pleasure to have you, all of you, to join us in this show with the attorney Margaret W. Wong and Associates, which is one of the most important attorneys in the United States. And she has been working in the law firm for over 46 years, actually almost 47 years since 1977. And she started working on that year, and she has been a blessing for many families. Every single year, thousands of families have the benefit to work with the attorney Margaret W. Wong. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter where you are. You can be anywhere in the United States or even overseas, but the attorney Margaret W. Wong will help you out to get your immigration relief. So if you have any questions, please feel free to write them down in the show, and the attorney Margaret will be answering your questions. And you can also make your appointment calling the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Let's welcome the attorney Margaret W. Wong to this show. Hello, Ms. Wong. It's a pleasure to have you today. How are you doing?
I'm very good, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. I was thinking about so many changes, so many laws coming through, uh, which are statewide laws that are ruling some states of the United States of America. So my question is, um, why is so different in each state the way they apply the law? Um, and how can this affect people regarding to immigration, since immigration is a federal law, but how can local laws affect people in their immigration status?
Right. That's the idea of the American Constitution that happened 250 years ago. One thing nice about America, actually, it's the same in the world, in China, the big countries. We have different states, like America, we're 50 states. And then you have different, like Guam, is it a state? If it's not a state, Hawaii, Virgin Islands. So, on the outskirts, Alaska, those are all a little bit weird. But the whole thing is America. You have federal law that controls federal bankruptcy. Like bankruptcy is a federal law. You have federal criminal law. You also have local criminal law. But driver's license are all state laws. So that's why you have New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, New Mexico, that we don't need a work permit to get a driver's license. But work permit is really a federal. So that's why there's some state, Ohio, you need everything to get a driver's license. And you're right. So, but that's one thing nice about America. We also have three branches of government. You have executive, legislative, and also judicial. Because like if you look at how the Trump race now is doing, one of the federal judges that he appointed now dismiss his documents case. And that's a judicial branch. Now it's up to the other two branches. One is, of course, the executive, is the president, is the White House. One is legislative, to make some corrections. And also the reason why they dismiss it again is because now, instead of saying, well, he did not take the documents or he took the documents, is because the appointment of the special counsel was wrong. That's what the judge was saying. So really, America is also changing. Instead of like the really clear three branches, now the judicial branch is calling out the legislative and the executive branch and say, hey, you couldn't just appoint the special counsel who indicts someone without. So but you're right. It's just America's getting difficult. And now it's empowering the most states, because normally years ago when I first went to law school and I was a young lawyer practicing, most state, we actually listen to the federal. And also when we collect the taxes, it's just like a family, right? We give the son some money, we give the daughter some money, we give my spouses some money to run the house, and I go to work. Now it's like the state also give the federal government money. Now the state is saying, why should I give you the money? You don't give it back to us to repair my roads, to fund our police station. So it's a mess, like abortion. It's another problem. Like now J.D. Vance, who came from Ohio, who went to Yale Law School, who married an Indian wife. Now he said one time, anyway, now he changed his position now on abortion, saying that it's really because the U.S. Supreme Court changed. So you're right. It's just getting worse and worse because the states are more. There was a time when Roe v. Wade come and the states just listened to U.S. Supreme Court. We're done with it. Now it's like each state have that. That's why a lot of doctors, even in different states that's legal, they don't want to do abortion because they don't want to be charged with killing a baby when it was not a baby. So it's a problem. But I really think from our listeners, and I know I talk too much, you need to focus and I need to focus instead of listening to the chatter and the voices and the noises and the mental problems of immigrants. We need to focus on our job at hand, which is to get people legal, to get them work permits, to stop people from coming through the southern border. I'm not advocating closing the border, but people need to stop coming up. And people need to stop. I just talked to someone who's a beautiful human being as a daughter. The father was accused of attempted murder. With their luck, they're also from Venezuela. Venezuelans already have a very bad reputation, and the father now is accused of murder. I'm like, what? And he just came to America a few months ago. So now he's stuck with the order of deportation. So the daughter said, oh, Mrs. Wong, what do I do now? And I said to him, waste money. Let him get out of jail first, and then we'll figure out what to do with immigration. What good is it to sit in jail for 10 years, and then you reopen your deport? I mean, he couldn't be deported anyway because he had to go to jail. So these are things that is just getting crazy. So please don't commit any crimes. If you are bought in a bar and that's what happened to him, people were threatening him because he speaks with an accent, just back off. Just say enough is enough. Don't fight back. Don't hurt a woman. Don't hit a woman. Don't hit children. I have another case where the father was mad and hit the 5-month-old baby. I mean, I could understand why you're mad, but you don't hit people. You don't hit a woman. I mean, you also don't hit a man. You also don't hit a 5-month-old baby. Now the partner, the mother of the child, is so mad. Now he will, and I don't blame her. She doesn't want to come to court and testify and help the husband to get out of jail. So these are things: no hitting, no running away from the cops. I have another case, and I go on and on. He came undocumented. He never left and come back. He actually don't have criminal record. He's from Guatemala. He's also a little bit indigenous. He just ran. When he saw these ICE Border Patrol car, he ran. And then people just stop him. Now they put him in jail. I'm saying, why are you running? You didn't do anything wrong. They say, oh my gosh, I thought they were going to deport me. I mean, don't run. I mean, it looks stupid, but don't run, So now, I look at them and I'm like, what are you doing? So don't run away from police. If police stop you, just put 2 hands on the top so they don't think you're having a weapon, and tell them your name and then call a lawyer or something. These are things that just don't be something stupid. Sorry. But don't come no more from Mexico until next a few months later, until we're organized here.
Yeah, it is. It's just like one of my uncles. He used to own 2 private schools, and I need to say it was back in Venezuela. So there's a different kind of people that came from Venezuela. The ones that used to have the tourist visa, which we were people more prepared and professional people that used to live in that country, and we decided to leave the country before it could get worse and we could make it. But now when they heard that the border was open, all the people that were not given a visa for some reason, and they weren't given a visa for a good reason, because they didn't have the reputation, they didn't have a good record, they had some criminal records back in Venezuela, so the embassy wouldn't give them the visa, and then they came here Many of them came directly from jail because the the director of the jail system in Venezuela supposedly paid them some amount of money so they could make it here, because President Maduro said that he would invade the United States, and they actually did. So that's why New York is in such a bad problem. So it's contradictory that people that don't have a visa are coming to the United States, and the people that have a visa are being turned back at the airport for no reason sometimes. So I'm glad to hear that people are not allowed to apply for asylum anymore at the border if they come illegally, which one of the resolutions that President Biden did recently, because we need to stop some kind of people to come to the United States, because we generalize. But not all Mexicans are bad, not all Venezuelans are bad, not all Colombians are bad, even though a bunch of Colombian people did a mess in Miami for the America Cup final. So it's tricky, Ms. Wong. It's tricky, but I just want the good people to come and the bad people not to come to the United States. But it's tough to determine who is the good and who is the bad people. So fortunately, President Biden is taking some measures about it, and hopefully is gonna get better very, very soon. Okay, I have a first question that came to the show. It says, "Hi, Mrs. Wong. I am a U.S. citizen. Came 25 years ago from India. Now I have family living in India. My mother and my father are in India. I would like to bring them to the United States on a legal status. What is the fastest way to do this?"
Two ways to come. You either come as a green card holder or you come as a tourist visa. I presume the fact that you're asking, they may not have a tourist visa. So if they have a tourist visa, you can always come to America and as a tourist. Once they change their minds, then you can switch their tourist visa into adjustment of status into a green card, but only if the initial intent and purpose is come as a tourist. Another way to do it, if they could not get a tourist visa, then you can file the I-130 now, and you don't even need a lawyer on this case because you are the child. And in India, it's very easy to establish lineage. I mean, the mother and parent stuff, because also high school and grade school, you have mother's name, father's name on there, birth certificate, mother's name, father's name. So file the I-130 is taking about 6 months to 9 months to 1.5 years for approval. Then it goes to National Visa Center. India is such a busy country for green cards, so all the American embassies there do it. It's not like China, we on the Guangzhou. Mexico, all of them do it now. It's so with India. Korea, you only have one that does it. So either file the I-130, they can come on a green card status. The whole processing, because of COVID, is about maybe 2 years to 2.5 years now. Or come as a tourist. And once they change their mind after 90 days, they can do a change of status in America. But these are the only two ways.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Wong. And I learned that you are going to be in Nashville tomorrow, in the city of Nashville, receiving people and giving consultations. So if you have any questions, or if you are living in Nashville, you can call the phone number 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984. Talk to the attorney Margaret W. Wong, and talk to the people in the office, and they will set you up for tomorrow in Nashville, Tennessee. So the phone number is 216-279-3984. Next question is, please, what type of questions do ask I-730 consular processing?
That's very, very good. So this means that the asylum in America was approved. The family is lucky because asylum approved. So once a family come to America on 730, 1 year later, they can apply for green card. At the border, they should get, or a few days later, they should get an A5 work permit. And within 30 days, they should get a social security number. Congratulations. Mostly they want to make sure you're the real son and daughter of the principal alien, they want to make sure the principal alien was truly married to the man or woman, the real one, because a lot of times you go to refugee camps, like in the olden days, the Vietnamese would go to Thailand, or even now in refugee camps in the Middle East, they cannot get married. So the new law just passed by President Biden saying that if it's an emergency situation, you never got married, you cannot prove you were married, you can still do the 730. But those are the rare cases. So normally they don't add. The most important thing is you need to, and you don't need to know that, but sometimes these American embassies are mean because asylum merit is secret. That means the story that you gave the asylum officer, the wife and the children, or the husband and the children need not know. That's the main thing. So if they ask, you're allowed to say, I don't know. But some embassies would think, oh, how could you not know? You have lied, because even they don't know what the story. Sometimes they're just curious, or they have friends in America or something. But you're allowed to say you don't know. I think that's what you're more concerned about, is do you need to know the story of the asylum grant? And the answer is no.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Wong. And we have another question related to asylum. But before, there's another one that says, hi, I have a C-14 work permit pending for almost 2 years. Why does it take so long?
It depends on what kind of C-14, because if you filed a U visa and you filed a 765, then you need a bona fideness letter. Even then, it should take only about 1.5 to 2 years. If it's a Wawa C-14 or parole at the border, like the CBP-1, the C-4, depends on what type. If you can tell me until, normally it doesn't take 2 years. The parole, the CBP-1 at the border takes only about 2 months. There's a lot of C-14 work permits. It's a parole work permit. It could be a Wawa work permit. It's just a weird work permit. U visa is also C-14. Another C-14 is SIJ, is a ward of court. So it depends on why. Ward of court should only also take about 9 months. So it may be a long, but if it's a Wawa case, it could be C-14, you need a 360 approval, but Wawa case, if you file the 485, you should do C9. C9 is a little bit faster than C-14. So it depends on what type of C-14. If you can tell me, I can answer fast.
Okay, so I think this person, I don't know if it's the same person, but it says, my daughter came from El Salvador when she was 16. Now she's 22. She has a court hearing because her mom abandoned us, but she never did the process as a minor. She filed asylum as a minor, but now she's 22. She has a court hearing coming in October. I don't know what she needs to do.
Okay, so she filed asylum as a minor, which means if she did not file a ward of court, then it's not a C-14, it's a C-8. So I wonder why she didn't do a C-8. The good news is because she came as a minor, I don't know if she came with you as a minor or she came alone, that's more than a minor, just an unaccompanied minor. Those are good cases. So I think maybe it's not a C-14 work permit, it's a C-8. C-8 for a minor should take only 2 months to 6 months, and that should have been approved years ago. Now it should be a 5-year. If you want to email one of my people or go to my web and email them and say, you asked me this question, I'll tell our web people, and then maybe I can answer your question. But you need to look at the original filing. You already have the lawyer. It's not a C-14. C-14 is if you have WOC, Ward of Court approved, 360 approved. Now you do but it doesn't seem like it's a Ward of Court case. So maybe it's a wrong filing.
Yes, and that's the problem when you probably do this without having an attorney. You need to have an attorney to file some applications. So go to your attorney, try to get this situation fixed. And if they cannot do something for you, just give us a call, and the phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984. Good morning. My husband was detained for driving while unlicensed. We paid the bond, but immigration put him a hold of immigration. We have been here for 15 years, and we have a daughter that has autism. how can we get him out of jail?
It depends on how old the daughter. This is a very, very good case. Make sure your lawyer, number one, request for bond, unless it's already 3 DUI, even 2, I think it's good. If your lawyer is still under 20, if the child is under 21, autism is, these are good 10-year cancellation cases. So I would immediately file the 482B. I would request for bond right away, because sometimes if you don't file the sub request, sometimes you get a bond in 2 or 3 days and you're not ready. These are good cases. Don't give it up. Also depends on where the bond is. Was he deported? Was it reinstated? Did he ever come back illegally? These are all stuff. But if you have an autistic child, that really helps you. And also, hopefully, he has filed tax return with a tax ID number. If he doesn't have a social, these are all questions. But you have a good case. Don't let him go, because once he get deported, you start another 10 years. Autistic child. By then, the child is over 21. You lose 42B.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Wong. And we have another question. This is not related to family, but this is related to labor-based applications. This says, no, this is the prior question. Okay, the question is not showing yet, but it says, what's the difference between filing H-1B and labor certificates?
That's very good. H-1B also have the labor certification thing, but the LCA, which means that labor certification application you need for H-1B. H-1B is 4-step, prevailing wage, that's the longest, and then you file the LCA. You have to do a 30-day job posting or 10-day, 15-day job posting. Now you file the H-1B. It's also a labor certification, goes to the National Department of Labor. Years ago, when we first started the practice, or when I first started, before 2005, it goes to your local, so you can just call them and, oh my gosh, how are you? You're so beautiful. Because we used to know all of them. We used to have coffee. We're all too poor to have nice dinner and nice lunch. So when we were all young, I would just go see them, and they'll come see us and say, hey, this labor cert, can you push it? This one, I have time, But now those days are gone. So H-1B also requires labor. H-1B is a term. Anytime you say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is a parallel track. H-1B is a temporary work permit, maximum 6 years, each term 3 years, maximum 6. H-4 could work if there's a perm approval. Labor certification is a perm. It gives you a green card. So for example, you're from India and China, it takes about 5 years to 11 years to get green card. If you're from Mexico or any Central American country, it takes only 1.5 to about 3 years for the perm. And actually perm is 1.5 years, 3 or 4 weeks for the I-140. So it's 2 different cases, but there's also a LCA, that's for the H-1B, which is also a labor cert, but it's a different case.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Wong. And we have another interesting question, but let me remind people that we have offices in 7 cities of the United States: Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. You can call the office and talk to one of the attorneys and make your appointment for consultation in any of the 7 cities that the lawyer Margaret W. Wong has offices. But also, if you are in Texas or California or any other state and you need the advice or the assistance of an attorney, you can call the office and they will be happy to help you no matter where you are. Phone number 216-279-3984. I filed for my husband and he entered without inspection. I became a citizen and filed for him, but it's been 5 years and he's still waiting for the waiver. It was filed 3 years ago and still waiting. Can we speed up?
This is a very, very good case. PIP new law came in about 3 weeks ago. Yesterday morning, it finally came in the USCIS.gov web, and I'm sure our newsletter, our YouTube will be talking about it. The new law should come in really before the end of the month, but who knows, maybe end of next month. But basically, you qualify. Number one, he was here more than 10 years. Number two, you became a citizen and he married you before June 17th of 2024. So if you don't have a lawyer, call me. But if you have a lawyer, ask the lawyer if you qualify. The question is, did he leave? Because most of my Mexican clients, they left and come back. Left because in those days it's like $800. You pay a coyote, you come back illegally, and you leave. You have a family your mother is very sick, your father is very sick, and you leave, and then you come back. So anytime you leave and come back is what we call perm bar. So we don't know if the new law will cover perm bar. But one thing is clear already. They're very clear on that. If your case is already in court and you don't have the removal order yet, you can still do PIP. So this is exactly what President Biden have in mind, the White House have in mind when he passed PIP. That you are married to a citizen, have been waiting for 5 years. Now you don't need to separate the family. It's called reunification of family units. I'm pretty sure you qualify. He only came once, 20. I'm so sorry. What took him so long? And you found each other. No. This is a really good case. Get it, do the PIP. And if you have no lawyer, call me. Because the two things, and I want all listeners to listen, you don't have to use my office. There are two things you need to do now. Number one, 10-year presence. This husband, I don't know if you filed tax return, but just get pictures, get a statement from friends to say you have been here more than 10 years. If you saw a doctor, and I feel bad because you could have collected Social Security by now if you have a green card. You're 67. This a 10-year presence and beneficence of marriage. The fact that your wife is kind enough to even ask us means that she cares about you. It is a real marriage, but we need to prove real marriage since you get married and you have not separated. But if you're separated and you got back together, it's still good. And also 10-year presence. You qualify.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wong. And our time is up for today. It's already 1 p.m. So thank you very much, Ms. Wong, for all of the questions and answers that you give to people all the time. And for Venezuela, this month of July is very important because the election is coming in just 10 days. But the thing is, the government is doing everything that they can to prevent from the opposition to have a candidate that goes to run for the presidency. So we are praying, we are believing that Venezuela is going to be free very soon, but these people are not going to give up. So hopefully Venezuela, if everything goes well and international organizations do something, we would be able to get rid of this government that has destroyed the country for several years. So thank you very much, Ms. Wong, for your time, and hope to see you next Wednesday.
Thank you. Same here.
And have a good day tomorrow in Nashville.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Don't forget, the phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the attorney Margaret W. Wong Associates. That's the law firm that you need to call if you are in immigration trouble or if you need to get an immigration relief. So the phone number is 216-279-3984, and 7 cities where they have offices: Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh. And only one phone number, 216-279-3984. Thank you very much for joining us today. Have a good lunch and see you next time. My name is Juan Carlos Branda, and it's been a pleasure to be hosting this show today. Thank you.